Why don't you go to a better school?
Why don't you get a better job?
Why don't you better yourself as a person?
It is easy to say that one should get a better job or go to a better school, or whatever may be the case.
But how can we say they have a choice when in reality they don't?
Resources and commodities are very much available to these individuals.
They don't really have a choice when schools with proper funding and resources are beyond their reach.
Then there are those who do have choice. They have the ability to go to a good school.
The differences between these two groups and their accessibility to improve their lives comes from what they are labeled as.
Society is constantly claiming that everything is a choice. It's not necessarily always true because there are factors such as race and class that are decided for us by outside forces.
We will be exploring the use of race and class to socially construct communities, creating differential opportunities.
Let's examine two cities from completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Beverly Hills and Compton.
Compton has a population of about 9,500 people per square mile, with the majority of the population being 32% African American. Compton's average household size is 4.15 people.
Meanwhile, Beverly Hills has a population of about 59 people per square mile, the white population making up 89% of the overall population of the city of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills also occupies about 3.3 people per household.
Just based on these facts, we can see social perceptions beginning to form.
There is a tendency within society to equate whiteness to a higher social status. So when we see a large presence or population of white individuals, communities such as Beverly Hills are seen to be more desirable or attractive.
We have phrases such as good neighborhood, which is associated with communities like Beverly Hills, indicating a lack of racial groups. So when we have a high presence of these racial groups, such as Latinos and African Americans, there is a false assumption of crime, delinquency, and social deviance. These false stereotypes have become detrimental to communities of color because it has led to the deprivation of resources.
Let's look at education, for example.
60% of people in Compton have a high school degree, while only 7% have a bachelor's degree or higher.
But when we look at Beverly Hills, around 95% have a high school diploma and 61% have a bachelor's degree. And the dropout rate in Beverly Hills is only around 5%.
Compared to Compton's 40%.
The schools in these two cities are unequal in terms of quality of education and school resources. Beverly Hills students have easier access to educational resources such as guidance counselors, school psychologists, laptops, and up-to-date textbooks.
While those in Compton don't. Most of the time, these are the students that are in greater need of help, however they don't have the available resources.
They have fewer guidance counselors, tutors, and psychologists, lower paid teachers, more rundown facilities, and larger class sizes than more affluent communities.
Despite knowing this, there's still a lack of funding in these schools, so these students are still being deprived of much needed resources.
This is one way social inequality persists today.
Employment and healthcare also show major differences between the two cities.
For example, the median salary for the worker in Beverly Hills is around $87,753.
While in Compton, the median salary per worker is $43,230. At the same time, only 78% of the population has access to health insurance.
While around 92% of the Beverly Hills population has healthcare. When looking at income, we can already see why one city would be struggling more than the other. With a higher number of people living in one household and earning a lower income, this can create a social strain on individuals. To add to this, the social perception becomes suppressive for those in the lower class.
With race and class as intersecting factors, those in poor racial communities have less opportunities and resources.
Resources such as healthcare become areas of inequality for those in lower socioeconomic standing, having less accessibility to healthcare leading to one of the many reasons there are differences in health outcomes of racial groups.
Along with discrimination and prejudice towards poor racial minorities, there are stereotypes involving the white population as well.
Earlier we talked about the false association of whiteness to higher social status.
What's interesting about these two cities is that, according to the statistics, the poverty rate for the white population in both Compton and Beverly Hills are higher than that of people of color.
These poor communities include the white population, which goes against the false stereotypes that white people do not exist within poor communities. Income, education, and race are just a few of the factors we have explored.
Through these factors, race and class have been used to create differences in opportunities, which further perpetuates inequality.
We use two extreme cases to demonstrate how social inequality is created through race and class.
But just because you were born or live in a particular community doesn't mean you deserve any better or any less. Everyone is entitled to equal opportunity and treatment.